Welcome or welcome back. My name's Joanne and today I'm so excited for this video. I've been wanting to do this since I saw Steph at It's Just Steph do it, and since then I've seen Sofie Alexandra and Samar at First Time Panner do this as well. I'm sorry if you can hear the plane. Windows open. It's gonna have to be. But so this is my palette battle tournament that I'm gonna be doing with all my eyeshadow palettes, and this is actually perfect for me to do right now because I wanted to do an updated eyeshadow palette collection video, and I mean this is literally showing off my eyeshadow palette collection and talking about them at the same time. So I did do a 64 bracket, but I do have 62 palettes. So what I decided to do is I decided to pick my top 2 palettes and give them buys. And I'm sorry if you don't like that. It's what I wanted to do. Like, just looking through all my palettes, I was like, these are the 2 that I always want to reach for, that I'm always thinking about, and I'm gonna start off with those. So how this is gonna work. Today's video is gonna be the first round. So this is gonna be the round of 64, which it's gonna be a long video. So I'm gonna try to edit out as much as I can to keep it down in time for you guys. I'm gonna try. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go on to round of 32, and then 16, and then obviously the quarters, semis, and then I'm gonna do a finals video, and I'll probably, and then it's just Steph did this where she, in her finals video, I don't know, maybe I'll do semifinals and finals together. And then with the palette that wins, I'll do a look with that palette in that video as well. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this yet. I have it kind of planned out, but I have it like weekly where like, you know, but then like the semifinals, you're only picking like 2 palettes and that's going to be a really short video. We'll see. I'll see how I want to do it. But for now, today is going to be the first round of 64. But let me first show you my top 2 palettes in this bracket. First is my Glaminatrix Nearly Natural palette. I love this palette so much. It has my favorite shimmer in my collection, hands down. And it's just like nice for every day, has a little bit of fun variety in it as well. And I just love the formula. It's so good. I'm so sad you can't get it anymore. But yeah, so this is one of the palettes that's getting a buy. And my other palette that's getting a buy is my Bella Beauty Bar Basic Witch palette. I recently used this and oh my god, is it beautiful. It's so gorgeous. Like, you can go like more like neutrally with like the orange shades, but like this is just an amazing palette for me. I love these pink tones. I love the purples. I never thought I would ever say that I love pinks and purples, but I do. It has this super dark purple shade that's really nice, and these shimmers are so smooth, so silky, but so sparkly, so impactful, and they don't crease on me, which I find a lot of not a lot of formulas crease on me, but like, yeah, I guess a lot of formulas crease on me. It's more easy for formulas to crease on my eyelids because they're so oily, but this palette is just perfection. So good, so good. The formula is so blendable, so easy to work with, just everything you would want in an eyeshadow palette. So these 2 palettes are getting buys, and they automatically move on to the next round. Now to actually start the battle. I'm so excited for this. Okay, so how I did this is I just randomly picked my palettes in the order from my spreadsheet of all the eyeshadow palettes I own. And there are some where I'm like, that's an easy pick. But then there are others that hurt my soul that they're pinned up against each other. Is that the saying? I don't know. That they're going against each other, and I'm like, I don't like that. Like, I remember that there's one near the end. It breaks my heart. I know it's not that deep, okay? But as a makeup lover, it is that deep. If you know, you know. So my first two palettes that are going up against each other are, yes, Natasha Denona, I Need a Nude. I trashed this palette so hard. And do I still agree with what I said? Yes. But after I got over it all, you know, I was like, look, you spent so much money on that palette. You still love the shade Muse. And you love the tones in it. Like, I love like a neutral brown. So I brought this back into my collection, but this is going up against Odin's Eye Christmas Eve. This is, right now, this is kind of a no-brainer. So let me open these up and show you both of them. So here's Natasha Denona, I Needed a Nude. Very neutral, very pretty. I do really enjoy Natasha Denona's mattes. They're very easy to use. They're very blendable. They have a good amount of pigment to them. But again, the only shimmer that I love is the center shade Muse right there. And here's Odin's Eye at Christmas Eve. I'm like speechless with this palette. I love the color story. I love the grunginess. I love the blues. I love that purple shade, Nowhere. These shimmers are gorgeous. Odin's Eye doesn't have my favorite formula either. Don't get me wrong. But between the two, it's gotta go to Christmas Eve. I mean, all of these shimmers are super sparkly, very pretty. Their matte formula isn't my favorite to work with, but it's workable. And I just prefer this color story. So, goodbye, I Need a Nude. Hello, Christmas Eve. And I'm not decluttering these palettes, okay? These are just going head to head, seeing which one I'm gonna prefer. And we're gonna see which one ends up on top at the end of this whole tournament. I'm so excited to see what palette that is. The next battle is Sugar Drizzle Man I Love Frogs against Vizier Mink Set. Here is Sugar Drizzle MILF, full of sparkly duochromes, very pretty shades. And then here is Vizier Mink Set. This one's actually kind of hard. I don't know. Because, okay. This is an all shimmer palette. Oh, don't do that. This is an all shimmer palette, so it's more of a companion palette. Can't create a full look with it. And then there's Vizier Mink Set, which is a warm tone brown palette. Which the shimmers aren't as pretty as these, but this creates a full look. This formula is really nice. I really like Vizier's formula. Their mattes are very easy to blend, very easy to work with. Their shimmers are just the normal smooth metallics, which I am enjoying nowadays. Why is this so hard already? Like, I love these shimmers, but again, it's a companion palette, and this one I can create full looks, create everyday looks. I think my heart is pulling towards Vizier Mink Set. That surprised me. Because I love these sparkly, shifty shimmer shades, but like the fact that this has mattes and shimmers, I love that. And it's neutrals, they're warm browns, my kind of palette. So between these two, Vizier Mink Set is gonna win. The next round is between Bella Beauté Bar Strange and Unusual and ColourPop Back to Hogwarts. There's no question about this one though. I already know which one I'm gonna pick. So here's Strange and Unusual. Gorgeous, gorgeous multi-chrome shimmers. Even the matte shades are grungy and gorgeous. And then here's ColourPop Back to Hogwarts. Of course I'm gonna go for the Bella Beauté Bar. Are you kidding me? ColourPop doesn't have my favorite formula. Their mattes could be better. Their shimmers leave something to be desired. But Bella Beauté Bar, you know, this is one of my favorite brands, and this was my first palette from them. This is what got me into the brand, and the sparkly goodness that this palette brings me so much happiness. Brings me so much happiness. I love the grunginess of this color story. Is this more of like a companion palette? Yes. But you can still create looks with it. This is their older matte formula, which isn't the best, but the shimmers just take the cake. So for this round, no question, Bella Beauté bar, Strange and Unusual. And unfortunately, the front of my palette got scratched. So yeah, this one is moving on. Next up, Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson Tiny Marvels against Sigma Ambiance. I don't know what I'm going to choose for this. I have an idea, but kind of close call. So here's the Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels palette. This was my project Level Up. I tried hitting pan on the shade Web right here. Clearly didn't work out. I've stopped doing that project just because it overwhelmed me. But yeah, this is that palette. And this is Sigma Ambiance. This is also so gorgeous. I do love both of these formulas. Sigma's formula, the mattes are very pigmented, but they're so blendable. And the shimmers are mostly like that smooth metallic type shimmers, which is what Sydney Grace is as well. They don't have like super sparkly shimmers. So it's actually a pretty good pairing. And I love my Sigma Ambiance, but I'm gonna have to go with my Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels because this just provides more variety. Again, I love both of these formulas. So either palette I choose would be a good choice. Why are words so hard? But like I could do like a nice brown neutral look. Fire Butts is absolutely gorgeous. But then I can also use like these more colorful shades to spice it up. And like they're like these mauve-y shades. And yeah. And Scarab, I'm normally not a blue-brown type of person because they just look very bruisey on me. But this one's really pretty. And Web is such a nice inner corner. It's so bright, so intense. I love it. And the packaging is gorgeous as well. So moving on from this round is Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels. This round is very rude. I don't like this round. For this round, I have Blend Bunny Blends, Classic, Love, against Cosmic Beauty Muse. I don't know what I'm gonna pick. Let me open it up, show you both of them. So here's Blend Bunny Blends. It's just a matte rainbow palette. I do have a pan in the shade Cream and Sugar, which is the white. And then here's Cosmic Beauty Muse. This makes me so sad. So sad. I already know my decision. It's gonna be Cosmic Beauty Muse. I love Blend Bunny so much. You hear it all the time on my channel. I'm a huge Blend Bunny stan. But this has mattes and shimmers. Like you can create a whole look with this. It has dark shades, it has lighter shades, has light shimmers, it has just so pretty. Even though Cosmic Beauty doesn't have my favorite formula, I'm still gonna have to go with this one because again, I can create a cohesive, complete look with this. And their shimmers crease on me, which is very sad. Very sad because they're so pretty. But they're also not as impactful as I prefer. Like you can tell from my eye look, I love a nice, very sparkly, shifty eyeshadow. And this just isn't it. But this color story, this was in my favorite palettes in my collection video. This color story is absolutely gorgeous. It's like grungy, fall, but it has like a couple like pops of spring as well. Just gorgeous. So sadly for this round, Cosmic Beauty Muse is moving on. I mean, not sadly, because I love this palette, but sad for Blend Bunny. Sorry, Blend Bunny. Hopefully you'll have one that makes it. But yeah, so I'm going with Cosmic Beauty Muse. This next pairing, I have no idea how it's gonna go. Oh, I'm nervous. Okay. I am so nervous. So we have Shroud Cosmetics and Batty Bean. It's freaking bats against Odin's Eye Merry Christmas. So here is the It's Freaking Bats palette. Absolutely gorgeous fall spooky season. I'm sorry about the lighting. And then here's Odin's Eye Merry Christmas. Why is this so hard? Oh my god. Neither of these have my favorite formula. Shrug Cosmetics, the mattes require more work. They're drier. And the shimmers aren't sparkly. They're not anything like super intense. Their newer shimmers are gorgeous. And then Odin's Eye Merry Christmas. I've talked about Odin's Eye. They're not my favorite brand either. I find their mattes also need a little bit of work. But the shimmers, I mean, the shimmers in this palette aren't my favorite. They're a little more hard pressed. I don't know. Help me choose. It's gonna have to go to It's Freaking Bats. Just based on the color story. Because like I said, they're both not my favorite formula, but color story wise, this is absolutely gorgeous. Like, this has shades that I don't have anywhere else in my collection. Like, Adams is such a pretty like periwinkle shade. Salmon Spooky, well actually, that's a lie. This is rearranged. So these are not the actual shade names. But like, these three are so pretty. And the shade Zero, I know this one's Zero. This is in the right spot. It's so pretty. It's like that purple blue shift that I love so much. So yeah, It's Freaking Bats is gonna be advancing from this pairing. This next one is also very interesting. It sucks when you actually like all of your palettes. I mean, it's good that I like all my palettes, but not for this situation. For this pairing, we have Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 5, which was her recent holiday release, against the newly re-released Urban Decay Naked palette. Here's Lightwork Volume 5, and then here's Urban Decay Naked. I use this one in my upcoming makeup playtime. I already have it filmed. Beauty of editing and uploading. You get to film things after the fact. But I do use this in my upcoming makeup playtime on Friday, so keep your eye out on that. And I did have Viseart Mink Set against Sugar Drizzle MILF, but this time I'm gonna choose Danessa Myricks. I love this formula. It's so easy to use, so blendable. The shimmers are, again, that smooth metallic type of shimmer, and they're really pretty. I love this formula, very easy to work with. So glad I picked this up. But even though this is a companion palette, I think this is so versatile. I mean, you can use these bottom shades as like matte shades as well, because they're not super impactful. But then you also have like more neutrally type of shimmers, like the shade Centered. It's this nice silver and like radiant. It has such pretty shifty foily shades, but also just has like everyday type of shades that you could use with any palette. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one. Lightwork Volume 5 is moving on in my tournament. This next one, all of these are very interesting matchups. We have Gourmand Girls Spooked. This is a very long palette. Versus Odin's Eye and Angelica Nyqvist Little Ghost from the past Halloween collection. So here's Gourmand Girls Spooked, and here's Odin's Eye Little Ghost. I love both these color stories. They're so different. They're both palettes that I haven't been reaching for all that much, but I'm gonna have to go with Gourmand Girls Spooked. I mean, the color story is more me. I prefer the Gourmand Girls formula over Odin's Eye. Even though this palette is one of their nicer formulas, I still prefer this one. Just the color story. It has neutrals, it has this grungy green. The shimmers are really pretty. I love this color story. I love blues. Again, I love purples. But this one, it just speaks to my soul. Speaks to my soul. The shade Trick is absolutely gorgeous. And again, the Gourmand Girls formula, you can't go wrong with it. So Spooked is moving on. My next two palettes, Ensley Rain Cosmetics Cold Moon against Viseart Cashmere. I do first want to say that I am currently not supporting Ensley Rain Cosmetics, just things that are going on with the brand, with the owner. I would just prefer to not do that. But for the sake of this video, I want to give my two Ensley Rain palettes a fair shot. Like, if it wasn't this brand and it was a completely different brand, how would I feel about these? That's how I want to go into this video regarding this brand. I just want to say that really quickly. If you want to talk about why, you can DM me on Instagram. I have the same handle at Joe's Makeup Journey. So yeah, we can talk there if you want, but let's take a look at these two palettes. I'm pretty sure I already know which one's gonna win. So here is Ensley Rain Cold Moon. It's absolutely gorgeous. A nice cool toned palette. And then here's Vizier Kashmiri, a nice neutral everyday palette. It's going to Cold Moon. Even though everything I said about the brand, again, I want to give these palettes a fair shot in this video. So one of these could win. You never know. Like, the mattes are so easy to work with, such a great formula, which is so unfortunate that I'm not supporting them right now. The shimmers are absolutely gorgeous. Just, yeah, everything I love in a palette. This one is actually my favorite from Vizier, but it's just more of like that smooth metallic shade again. And like, there are a couple of these shades that are very dry. Like, barely anything comes off, just very dry. And yeah, although I love this palette, it just can't outbeat this one. So Ensley Rain Cold Moon is moving on to the next round. This is just not fair. Okay, next up I have Gourmand Girls Haunted up against Makeup by Mario Master Mattes. Not fair. Not fair at all. So here's Gourmand Girls Haunted. I did just use this No Pan Left Behind style in my Deca Panning Project Pan, and it is, I should say, gorgeous. So pretty. And here's Makeup by Mario Master Mattes. I hate that this got pitted against this one, because obviously Haunted is gonna win. I mean, I love this formula. It's so easy to work with, pigmented, blendable. What more can you want? But it's an all matte palette, well, all matte neutral palette. So you can only do so much. Yes, it has a lot of variety in the shades and undertones, but it's a matte neutral palette versus Haunted. So this palette, I did go into my thoughts on this palette in my Deca Panning Project Pan, and I love the grungy tones. I just wish there was like one very grungy shimmer, like greeny grungy shimmer or something. But these shimmers are so pretty. They're so sparkly, they're shifty. Like, the shade Apparition is my favorite in the palette. So pretty. And Unearthly is really pretty too, as well. And so is Ghostly. Anyways, I'm sorry about this streak. It'll go away after I talk about this palette. But yeah, I just love this. Gourmand Girls, again, one of my favorite brands. Great formula to work with. The only thing I will say, this black is so pigmented. For me, it's a little too pigmented because it's so easy to have too much product on your eyes. Nonetheless, I love this, and this is moving on. This is another, I literally just remembered that my tennis bag is right there, and you could probably see that in all my videos. Oh well. But like I was saying, this is another unfair one because it's Makeup by Mario Master Mattes The Neutrals versus Bella Beauté Bar Smoky Glam. And this one's very reflective and ginormous. But let me try to show you both of these at once. So here is the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes The Neutrals, and then here's Bella Beauté Bar Smoky Glam. I love these tones. I love a neutral brown. But again, how can this all matte neutral palette compare to this ginormous, more like mauve neutral palette from Bella Beauté Bar? It can't. So Smoky Glam for the win. This is so good. I will say these shimmers are more of like that squishy type formula, especially the ones up here. Oops. Like up here, they're more squishy. Like, these are a little firmer, like not like hard pressed firm, but these are so pretty. They're so sparkly. They're just everything. And the mattes, again, are very easy to work with. Pigmented, blendable. the newer Bella Beauté bar formula that like everyone's loving. Of course, Smoky Glam is gonna be making it through. The next pairing is another no-brainer. So I have ColourPop and High School Musical East High up against Adept Seahorse. So here's the ColourPop one. Here's the Adept one. Again, yes, this is an all shimmer companion palette, and this you can do a full look with it, but these shimmers, they're not good. They're so lackluster. Could be way better. So obviously Adept Seahorse is winning this. Sorry, not sorry. This one, these are just sparkly. They're more of like an iridescent shade, except for Soft Coral, Punto, and Giraffe. Those three are more like intense pigmented type shades, but the rest are very like iridescent-y, but very sparkly, just awesome to work with, very silky smooth. This is a very expensive palette, but I am so glad I picked it up when it got released. It's so pretty, so pretty. So yes, Adept Seahorse is going to be moving on to the next round. Another pairing where I don't even know how it's gonna go. I have Blend Bunny Sugar and Grunge versus Ensley Rain Groovy Garden. Here is Blend Bunny Sugar and Grunge, another ginormous palette. And then here is Ensley Rain Groovy Garden. Stop. How am I supposed to choose? This has so many fun, colorful shades. Like, I love the greens, I love the purples, I love the teals, I also really like the pinks. But this is a nice, like, neutrally greeny palette, and the shimmers are absolutely gorgeous. So how am I supposed to choose? This is probably the hardest one yet. I don't know. Don't ask me to choose, please. Blend Bunny is just very unlucky right now because I have to give it to Groovy Garden. Oh, this pains me so much. Again, I love this palette. This is currently in my Panels Eyeshadows. I love this color story, but just comparing the shimmers, I prefer the ones in Ensley Rain. These are their better shimmer formula, but it just still doesn't compare to these. And they both have such amazing matte formulas. I'm so sad that this had to get discontinued, and for the reasoning that it got discontinued is so stupid. But I will forever cherish this palette. Love you. Mwah. You will be missed. Even though I'm not decluttering it at all. But sadly, this one's getting eliminated. But that means, well, I said Groovy Garden is moving on. Again, like I said with the Cold Moon palette, mattes, so easy to work with, pigmented, very blendable, range of depths, which I love. And the shimmers are just so pretty. They're sparkly, they're silky, there are a couple that are a little more chunky, but like they're still so pretty. They're so pretty, and this color story just screams me. I'm so sad that Blend Bunny got beat out, but this is such an amazing palette. And again, I wish I was supporting the brand, so I would love to get more palettes from them, but just everything going on, not going to. But yeah, Groovy Garden is moving on in this tournament. Who decided to do this? Not me. I didn't decide to do this. Absolutely not. Blend Bunny seriously can't catch a break, because the next pairing is a Blend Bunny pairing. It's Blend Bunny Surge versus Blend Bunny Lure. At least there's gonna be a Blend Bunny palette advancing. Trying to look at the positives here. Here is Blend Bunny Surge. This is discontinued because she can't get the neon pigments anymore. And then here is Lure, which I believe is still on the website. This is actually kind of hard. I know which one I'm gonna pick, and it's gonna be Lure. But if you're talking about color story wise, it's Surge. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to Surge, and Lure is gonna move on. This palette, I love these grungy tones. These neons add just a fun pop to play with. The only thing is that these shimmers are very lackluster. I do really like Limitless and Flash, but the rest of them I could do without. So that's really what set it apart from Lure. If this had better shimmers, I would 100% be picking this one. Surge is going to be eliminated from this tournament. And then Blend Bunny Lure. I mean, these are their updated shimmer formula. I haven't gotten any of their newer palettes, so I don't know if they're any different. They're mattes, pigmented, blendable, buildable. These shimmers are more of like the sparkly shimmer. They're just so pretty. Pearl is a multi-chrome. They're just so pretty, and I love this color story. Again, I love these purples. I love these teals. The red, I don't know. I love blue. Blue is like my favorite color to wear. This is very similar to Sugar and Grunge. It's just a more brighter, more poppy type of color story. Sugar and Grunge is more grungy, hence the name. Yeah, I love this palette so much. It's definitely one of my favorite Blend Bunnies. Actually, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I have a Blend Bunny that I like very much dislike. But yeah, so Lure is moving on. Next is a pretty good pairing, I think. So I have the Urban Decay Moondust palette in the shade Space Rider that came out last holiday season. And then I also have Kaleidos Cold Brew Quad. Here are what those two look like. I think I'm gonna surprise myself. I'm definitely gonna surprise myself with this one. And I'm gonna pick the Urban Decay Moondust palette. Like, yes, this one has mattes and a shimmer, so you could create a full look with this. Very easy for every day. The shimmer is so pretty. It's so sparkly. Very nice. But I've been loving using these as toppers. Like, I go into Space Cowboy actually quite a bit to use as a topper. I love Wild Dipper Rides Again. It's such a pretty sparkly pink shimmer, and Cosmic Space Dust is such a pretty like olivey bronzy type of shade. And then Star Cowgirl is so pretty on the inner corner if you like a sparkly shade. I know you can't get this palette anymore. I'm surprised. I totally thought I was gonna pick the Kaleidos one, but I'm picking this Urban Decay Moondust palette. I shocked myself with that one. The next pairing we have is Melt Cosmetics Gemini versus Pat McGrath Bronze Ecstasy. This was a part of her holiday release last year. And Melt Gemini, I've used this in Deca Panning earlier this year. I've talked about it loads, and I'm gonna talk about it again. So here's the Gemini palette. It's such a long palette. And then here's Bronze Ecstasy. You already know which one I'm gonna pick. If you've heard me talk about this palette, you know it's gonna be Melt Gemini. I do love this palette. The shimmers are so pretty. They're so sparkly. They're smooth. They're gorgeous. I'm so glad I have this palette, but it just can't compare to Melt Gemini. I mean, can you tell I like the same types of color stories? Yeah. Warm browns, grungy greens, has a black to really deepen up a look, has a dark brown if you want it deep but not black deep. The shimmers are okay. They're prettier than I remember, I will say, when I use them in that project. They are prettier than I remember, but I mean, I still have better in my collection, but I could create a whole eye look using this. It has pretty good variety. I mean, you can go light, like a lighter look, or you can go super deep. And yeah, I just love this so much, and the packaging is gorgeous. So of course, I'm gonna pick Melt Gemini for this one. Next up, we have Glaminatrix Sugar and Spice up against ColourPop Lizzie McGuire. This is currently my Panel's eyeshadows. Not that that matters. So here's the Glaminatrix Sugar and Spice. And then here's ColourPop Lizzie McGuire. I feel like I'm gonna do something you're not gonna expect. Because Glaminatrix, their formula is 100% times better than ColourPop, but I don't love this color story. I love Nutmeg, which is that middle shimmer in the top row. I love Mustard, which is the flaky one next to it. I love Basil, which is the shade right here. But I don't like how dark these neutral mattes are. They're very cool toned. I don't love Star Anise, which is the multi-chrome in here. Again, their shimmers are so pretty, but I just don't love this color story. The packaging is nice too. It's like the faux leather type of packaging. And I don't use pastels all that often either. So, with that being said, ColourPop Lizzie McGuire is moving on. I never thought that ColourPop would beat out an indie brand for me. But I love this palette. Like I said, this is in my Pan Those Eyeshadows. I'm currently trying to hit pan in So Mature. It's what's in my inner corners today. I don't know how I feel about it. I did accidentally put down a couple shimmers before remembering that I was going to do this today. It's a little different for me, but I don't know how I feel about that. But this palette, like, I think the mattes are so nice. They're the better ColourPop formula that I've tried. The shimmers, again, they're not like amazing, but they're nice. Like, I really like Audi, which is the corally gold, and I really like Alpha Remember. I have hit pan in Bye-Bye, which is such a nice inner corner shade. I actually really like their glitter. It's really pretty. I just love this color story. It's so fun. It's just so fun to play with, and you can also get like an everyday type of look with these two pinky shades. And it's Lizzie McGuire. It's Lizzie McGuire. But, oh, okay. I guess ColourPop Lizzie McGuire is moving on into the next round. This next one is another brand battle. And that is Natasha Denona Mini Starlet versus Natasha Denona Glam. So here's Mini Starlet. And then here's Glam. I genuinely don't know which one to pick. I know it sounds crazy because it's like, how can you compare a 5 pan to, what, 15 pan? Because I just prefer these tones to this one. Am I actually gonna do it? Am I gonna choose Mini Starlet over Glam? I think I am. Wow, okay, I did not see that coming. Natasha Denona doesn't have my favorite formula. Her shimmers are like that smooth metallic, which again, I'm appreciating now, but they're still not my favorite. And again, I just prefer the color story and the tones of this palette. So Mini Starlet is beating out Glam. Shook. I am shooketh. Did I really just say that? Yes, I did. I don't know how this one's gonna go. I have Odin's Eye and Yalaka Nyqvist Trick or Treat up against Electrum Cosmetics Celestial Sea Witch. Look at this packaging. It's so pretty. Here's what they look like. So here's Trick or Treat, and then here's Sea Witch. Celestial Witch. I think I know which one I'm gonna pick. I love these tones. This is very much a me color story, but I like this shimmer formula more than Odin's Eyes. And these are so pretty. It's just a palette full of shifty, sparkly shades. So pretty. So, so pretty. Very smooth, very silky, very sparkly. Absolutely gorgeous. So, Celestial Witch is moving on and beating out Trick or Treat. Another all shimmer palette. Can you tell that I prefer shimmers over mattes? Yep. All right. The next pairing is Adept Heather Austin, which was my Pan That palette until I gave up on that project. Going against Bella Beauty Bar Pastel Garden. I have an idea of maybe what I'm gonna pick, but we're gonna have to see. So here's Adept Heather Austin, very gorgeous. And then here's Bella Beauty Bar Pastel Garden, the ginormous pastel palette. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stick with my original and go with Heather Austin. This just has so many shades. It's so pretty, but it's an all pastel palette. It's very much a companion palette. Like, you could create a full look with this, but most likely I'm reaching in here for a shade or two. But these shimmers are so pretty. Again, they're more of like that squishy type of formula, which isn't my favorite. They're still very pretty. And I still love this palette. I mean, it's Bella Beauty Bar, and I love Bella Beauty Bar. But yeah, this is just so pretty. I will say Adept doesn't have my favorite matte formula. They're a little drier, need a little bit more work. But these shimmers, Adept shimmers, you can't go wrong with them. Are they more of an expensive brand? Yes. But I think they're worth it because their shimmers are just gorgina. I can't believe I just said that. Their shimmers are just gorgeous. They're so pretty, so sparkly. They do feel a little more textured than other brands, but they're still so pretty. I will forever treasure this palette because this is what got me hooked on Adept Cosmetics. So moving on into the next round is Adept Heather Austin. And I did have a pan on scrubs, but I kind of just squished everything back and now I don't have a pan on it. Oops. But yeah. So this one is moving on. I'm finally kind of getting to the end. This has been such a long video. Oh my god. But next I have Adept Ninhydrin up against ColourPop and Winx Club Just Like Magics. So here's Ninhydrin. I don't know if you can see any of the shifts. And then here's Just Like Magics. This is such a pretty pastel palette, but again, not my favorite ColourPop formula. So I'm going with Ninhydrin. Ninhydrin. Oh my god. These two mattes, they don't really go together in my opinion. So I really just focus on the shimmers in this palette. And this is the same formula as the Heather Austin palette. And it's just so pretty. I mean, these purpley blue shades, they scream my name. Even this shade is really pretty. Like, all these shimmers are absolutely gorgeous. I'm not gonna say it again, okay? Don't worry. But so gorgeous. Again, can never go wrong with Adept shimmers. They're just so pretty, so impactful, so sparkly, just everything that you could ask for from an indie shimmer. So yeah, Ninhydrin is on to the next round. The next pairing is What's Up Beauty Geodes versus Gourmand Girls Nightshade. I don't know which one I'm gonna pick. Oh my god. Here's What's Up Beauty Geodes. I'm sorry if the lighting's different. It's raining. But here's What's Up Beauty Geodes. And then here's Gourmand Girls Nightshade. They're both so pretty. This rain is so intense. Again, I'm so sorry if you can hear it. I'm gonna have to go with Gourmand Girls Nightshade. So I do really love this palette. It's, again, gorgeous, so pretty. But the shimmers are more of like that iridescent type of shimmer, which isn't my preference. Whereas Nightshade, the shimmers, again, it's the normal Gourmand Girls formula. Very sparkly, very impactful. And I love this color story. I love these purples. I love this yellow shimmer called Flowering. So, so pretty. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Gourmand Girls Nightshade. I'm pretty sure every single one of my Gourmand Girls palette has made it to the next round. Good job, Gourmand Girls. Proud of you. The next pairing. Again, I don't know how this one's gonna go. But I have Vizier Paris Edit, so cute. And then I have Natasha Denona Bronze, which is so reflective. You can see everything. Here's Paris Edit, and then here's Bronze. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go with Bronze because this gives more variety and depth than this does. This is very light with like a dark matte with shimmer and like a dark shimmer, satiny shimmer. And I think these, okay, Natasha Denona shimmers aren't sparkly, but they can be impactful. And I just prefer the look of these shimmers than these. So Natasha Denona Bronze is gonna beat out my Vizier Paris Edit and move on to the next round. Next up, we have Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette, again, very reflective, up against Blend Bunny the Dollhouse. So here's the Glam Face Palette. Again, I'm sorry it's so reflective. And then here's Blend Bunny the Dollhouse. Am I gonna surprise myself again on this one? Because I feel like you would expect me to say Blend Bunny over Natasha. But these aren't my favorite tones. Like, these purples look very bruisey on me. I don't love wearing gray. The pinks are pretty, and like I love like those like greens. But I don't know. This just, I don't know. And in this palette, I don't love the cream blush, but the highlighter is so pretty. I'm gonna surprise myself and pick the Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette, and this is the light version over the Dollhouse. Who would have thought? I love Blend Bunny, and like these shimmers are really pretty, but they're only like a handful that I would use out of all of them. Whereas this palette, like, yeah, it doesn't go like super deep, but it's good for every day. These shimmers are really pretty. They're definitely some of her better shimmer formulas. And I'm going with the Glam Face Palette. I'm just gonna go with my gut, what my gut's telling me, and my gut is telling me to pick this palette. So this is gonna move on, beating out Blend Bunny. Who would have thought? Not me, that's for sure. Next up, we have another Natasha Denona versus Indie, which doesn't really surprise me because I have so many Indie palettes. But we have this humongous Bella Beauté bar and collaboration with Ellie Starr and Brittany Huffman Best Mattes palette against Natasha Denona Yucca. Let me try to show both of them at the same time. We're gonna see how this goes because this palette is ginormous. So here's a Best Mattes, another matte rainbow palette, and then here's Yucca. I actually don't know which one I'm gonna choose. Why is this actually so hard? I will say Yucca is my favorite Natasha Denona palette that I own, and in this case, it's gonna be the one that moves on. Okay, 2 in a row where Natasha Denona beats out an indie brand, but the reason I picked this, I mean, my kind of colors, but these shimmers are actually so pretty. They're so foiled, they're so impactful, they're sparkly. They're the same form, at least like a couple of these are the same formula as the shade that I love from I Need a Nude. And again, the color story. I love her matte formula. It's very easy to work with. And yeah, just this color story is absolutely gorgeous. So I can create a whole look using this palette. It smells very interesting. But yeah, I am gonna move on the Yucca palette just because this has shimmers and this is an all matte palette. So Natasha Denona Yucca is onto the next round. The next pairing, we have Cosmic Beauty Serenity up against Adept Cosmetics Arrow Inspired. Here is the Serenity palette, and then here is the Arrow Inspired palette. I cannot believe I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pick Cosmic Beauty Serenity because if you look at these two, they're very similar color stories. So kind of interesting that these two got put up against each other in the first round. They have very similar color stories, but this one just has more variety in the mattes. You can do a lot more looks, although I do prefer Adept's shimmer formula. I think these ones are really pretty, and again, they're usable. They're just so pretty, but yeah. When I first looked at this, I was like, Adept 100% because I prefer the shimmer formula here, but I do love the Cosmic Beauty matte formula more than the Adept matte formula. And again, because you can have so much variety with your looks with this palette, this is the one I'm going to go with. So both of the Cosmic Beauty palettes in my collection, I believe, are moving on as well. Very interesting. So yeah, this one is moving on to the next round. I'm surprised. I am shocking myself with this video right now. Next up, I have another very neutral palette up against an all shimmer palette. I have Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes up against Sugar Drizzle Sugar Dreams. Here's the Ethereal Eyes palette. So pretty. Neutral, browns, leans a little warm toned. And then here's Sugar Dreams. These shimmers are so pretty. They're, again, the duochromes, sparkly shades. Sugar Drizzle has a little bit more of like a thicker shimmer formula, but they're not unpleasant to work with. They're very nice. But this round, I'm giving it to Ethereal Eyes. This is one of my favorite palettes in my collection. I love this so much. The mattes are very easy to work with. They're pigmented but very blendable, and they build on each other very well. And these shimmers are such pretty toppers, so pretty on their own. I can't say enough good things about this, and I always say this, but Mario, I know he's not watching my video, but make this palette permanent. Please, 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 please. Please, please, please. This is so, so good. So, so good. And I still agree with what I said before. It's better than the I Needed a Nude. This is moving on to the next round for sure. We have 3 more pairings to talk about. I'm excited for this video to be done because it's been a long, long time of filming this, and I hope it's not going to be that long after I edit it. It's going to be a lot to edit. Up next, we have the ColourPop Powerpuff Girls palette against the Blend Bunny All Done Up palette. Here is the Powerpuff Girls palette. Very fun, very bright. And here is the All Done Up palette. Can you tell which one I'm going to pick? I'm sure you can. Blend Bunny All Done Up. The thing is, I don't reach for these bright colors. Even though they're so fun, they're so pretty, I just don't reach for this palette. Like, it honestly just sits in my collection as a nostalgic memento collection piece. Even though I do like these shimmers, like I really like the Mayor as an everyday type of shimmer. But yeah, it's just not a favorite palette. And then the All Done Up palette. I do currently have the shade Starlit in my Panlos eyeshadows. Absolutely gorgeous. These are my kind of tones. Fall. I will say this isn't my favorite Blend Bunny palette just because it's so dark. But these shimmers are so pretty. Like, I love Starlit. I love Wink. I love Shine with the green. The silver is so pretty. I don't love like a yellow gold on me. Moving on. But yeah, I still love this palette. I love the packaging of it. I love everything about it. Very grungy, fall vibes. Love, love, love. And again, Blend Bunny formula. Can't go wrong with it. If you see a color story that speaks to you, get it. I don't like to try to make people buy things, but like if there's something that like you're interested in for Blend Bunny, they do 20% off sales quite frequently, so I would wait for that. But yeah, this is moving on to the next round. Next up, we have two very popular brands that you can get at Sephora and Ulta. But first we have Natasha Denona Retro, and it's going up against Pat McGrath Bronze Seduction. Here is Natasha Denona Retro, and then here is Pat McGrath Bronze Seduction. Ignore this purple shade. It cracked because it was poofy. Like, I think there was like an air bubble in it or something, and I was like pressing down on it and it just cracked. So it really sucks because this is a very expensive palette, so it kind of makes me nervous to hold this up because I feel like this is just gonna fall out. But there's that palette. This is the palette that's gonna move on. I will say I do have the mattes on my eyes today, and I did use this along with my Urban Decay Naked palette in my upcoming makeup playtime. I will say the mattes aren't my favorite to work with. I mean, yeah, it worked out. It's a pretty look, but they required a little bit more blending than other formulas. But these Blitz Astral shades are no joke. They're so silky smooth. They're so thin, but they apply with so much impact, so much sparkle. Just gorgeous. And the packaging is so hefty on these palettes. I want to get more of these. But it's so sad about this purple shade. I don't know if you can see. It's very cracked. But yeah. I mean, I have plenty of dark neutral shades, dark purple shades, and I wouldn't travel with this anyways because it's so bulky and so heavy. But Bronze Seduction is moving on in this tournament. This last pairing is the pairing that I have not been looking forward to because it's two of my most favorite palettes in my collection from two of my most favorite brands. We have Adept Cosmetics Cimmerian Sunset going up against Glaminatrix Rich Romantic. I am not okay right now. I am not okay. Again, I know this is not that deep, but just looking at the two, I'm like, how can I choose? Here's Adept Cimmerian Sunset, and then here's Glaminatrix Rich Romantic. Both of these are absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I do prefer the Glaminatrix matte formula to Adept. I like both of their shimmer formulas. And I love this color story, the pinky purple tones, the multi-chromes, the shade Captivating right here. So pretty. But I have to give it to Adept Cimmerian Sunset. I mean, these earthy tones, the warmness, the fall color story of this, and it being the Adept shimmer formula that I absolutely love and adore. It has to be Cimmerian Sunset. Oh my god, that was the worst pairing to have. Like, I feel like if this was up against almost any other palette, it would have won. But because it was up against Cimmerian Sunset, I just have to pick this one. And this holds such a special place in my heart because the owner of the brand actually watched my video on this and she commented on it, and I'm just like, what? But yeah, this is 100% moving on into the next round. There are all of my palettes. There's the first round of my palette battle. I hope you enjoyed. This is a very long one. Hopefully you're still here. If you are, thank you so much for watching this entire rambly video about eyeshadow palettes. The next round will be coming up in a week, so keep your eyes out for it. Again, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great day, a great night, whatever time it is for you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.